Hello everyone, my name is Esther. I'm a 28-year-old art historian from Venice, Italy. For the past 2 years, I have been part of Ultima Generazione, an environmental and social justice movement asking the government to immediately act against the climate collapse through acts of nonviolent civil resistance. Since 2022, we have been facing trials, fines, and police abuse. For two of us, Simone and Giacomo, special surveillance measures have been asked, normally applied to people who commit mafia-related crimes. While Simone has been acquitted, we are still waiting for a verdict on Giacomo. His crimes have been interrupting a tennis match by throwing confetti on the field and also publicly exposing police brutality against him. The Italian government, now led by far-right parties, has been mocking and silencing us instead of listening to our request. Also, me and Guido are still on a trial against the Vatican State, which has been asking us to pay an enormous amount of money, 30,000 euros, for a minimal damage involuntarily inflicted on a 19th century statue pedestal. Meanwhile, the Pope is talking about the importance of listening to activists and scientists. So they are warning us against the climate collapse. So talk about contradictions. There have been hundreds of extreme climate events every year in Italy for the past 3 years. And people have been suffering personal losses and economic damage. No one is paying for this except for the people themselves. After an anti-eco-vandals decree approved this January, now it's the turn of the so-called security decree, draft law number 1660, still to be validated and already cause of a huge debate among the Italian social movements. This law would grant greater rights to the police forces, allowing them to carry a second gun outside their jobs, and also granting them up to 40,000 euros for legal expenses if they are called on a trial against citizens, giving them the upper hand in the court. At the same time, it will make it nearly impossible to protest in prisons and in CPRs, which are structures where the immigrants are detained before forced repatriations, and they are kept there in inhuman conditions. And instead of providing solutions to the housing crisis in a time where the salaries are at their lowest and the rents at their highest, the government is threatening to imprison squatters of public and private buildings. Up to 20 years of prison also if protested against large infrastructures. A recent examples are the protests against the Messina Strait Bridge, unwanted by population, risky and very expensive to build, and a huge danger to the local ecosystem. In short, this law criminalizes and oppresses the poor, public dissent, the migrants, the homeless, and the detainees, and coddles the police while also putting them at risk by escalating the chance of clashes, like we have seen happening on the 5th of October in Rome during a pro-Palestine march.
Great.
As a movement, the articles which concern us the most would be the ones on road and railways blockades, which could lead up to 2 years in jail, and the tightening of punishment for the defacement of public buildings with paint or similar materials. Even a simple possession of documents on how to organize a protest or doing a simple sabotage would mean doing the jail time up to 5 years. As Ultima Generazione, we are also trying to figure out how to keep protesting under all this oppression. The Climate Emergency Fund has also stopped helping the European movements, and we are currently relying on people's donations and the crowdfundings to cover the legal expenses. And we are more worried now than ever, since the climate predictions for our country just keep worsening. And we are seeing the consequences day by day. This draft law emerges as a reactionary and violent response of the state to a precarious social scenery, with discontent and apathy seething throughout the country. And various movements and collectives are uniting against the decree, calling out the government's hypocrisy and intrinsic violence. We have come to the paradoxical point of having to protest, to defend the right to protest, which is a fundamental part of a healthy democratic state that is destined to sink and shatter if it doesn't learn to listen to its citizens.